In this lesson on logarithms, we're going to talk about the properties of logs. There are really three properties you need to know about for this class. The first is the product property, the second quotient, and the third the power. Now the product property of logs says that if I have log with a base, let's just say of c, of a times b, that's the same as the log with a base of c of a plus log base c of b. Now, this is called an expansion in this direction. This is called expanding the log. And I'll talk about condensing the log in just a second. And the quotient property, if I have log, again, let's just say c, of a over b, well then that's equal to the log with a base of c of a minus log base c of b. And the power property says that if I have log base c of a to the b, that's the same as b times log base c of a. Now I mentioned before in the product property that expanding takes a log and expands it into two different equations. And it could be more than, two different terms. And it could be more than two terms. But it's taking one term and making more of that one term and making it into two terms. And in this case, the quotient property will talk about condensing, and condensing is when you go in the opposite direction. You take two terms or more and you make them into fewer terms. Okay? So expanding, taking one term and making two terms, and in this case condensing, I've got two terms into one. So let's take a couple problems from your book, and we're going to talk about expanding first. So I have problem number, or expanding logarithms using the properties. I have a problem, it's log with a base of 10 of x over y to the sixth, and I want to expand this log. Now I can use my quotient property and I can use my power property to solve this problem. I know that this is the same as log of x minus log of y to the sixth. So I've just used my quotient property. Now I can use the power property to change this value into 6 log of y. So I've finished my expansion, and here's my answer. Log of x minus 6 log of y. Okay, let's take another problem that might be a little bit more difficult. Number 11 from your homework. This is log of the cubed root of x times y times z. So I'm going to use, again, the power property and also the product property. So let's rewrite this first in terms of, actually in exponential form. So I'm going to rewrite this as log of x times y times z to the 1/3. And then rewriting it again, I can say that this is log of x to the 1/3 times y to the 1/3 times z to the 1/3. Now using my product property of logs, I can rewrite this now as log of x to the 1/3 plus a log of y to the 1/3 plus the log of z to the 1/3. Now the final step is to use the product property, and the product property says that log x to the 1/3 is the same as 1/3 log x, and log y to the 1/3 is the same as 1/3 log of y, and log z to the 1/3 is the same as 1/3 log of z. Now as a final step, you could also rewrite this as 1/3 times log x plus log y plus log z. Now let's talk about condensing expressions. In this case, I have 6 log base 3 of u plus 6 log base 3 of v. Now remember, the bases have to be the same in order for to use the properties in condensing the two terms. So in this case, we're going to start by talking about the product property. And I know that 6 log 3 of u plus 6 log 3 of v is going to be the same thing as 6 log 3 of u times v. And then as a final step, knowing the power property, I can finally rewrite this as log 3 u times v to the 6th. Okay, and then the final problem, we're going to condense problem number 24, which is 4 log base 3 of u minus 20 log 3 of v. And again, we have to make sure that the bases are the same, and they are. And so we start again by using the quotient property, and the quotient property says that this is the same as 4 log of u over v, or log u with a base of 3 over v to the 4th. Oh, excuse me. As any good math teacher will know, we occasionally make mistakes on the board, and I just caught one while I was doing this. So let's start again to redo this problem. So again, I check to make sure that the bases are the same, and they are. And then I'm going to rewrite each individual expression using the power property. And this first term, or the terms using the power property, becomes log base 3 of u to the 4th. And the second is going to be log base 3 of v to the 20th. Now I use a quotient property. I've got the same bases. And I have log base 3 of u to the 4th over v to the 20th. And that is your answer.